So here to the right of our woodpile, we're going to try to build some raised beds. And they'll be sort of in a U shape. I'm standing like looking down on the top of the U. The long board there, 12 feet long, is just to help me visualize where it's going to sit. Okay, it's going pretty easy out here in the soft dirt, trying to get this flat. It's been raining a lot, and it's not muddy, but it's moist and easy to dig. It's really important with these blocks that you get them level. And this may actually be the part of this job that is not quite as easy as it sounds. If this was perfectly level ground, this would be the easiest raised garden bed ever. But you do have to make sure it's level, and that means a little bit of leveling of the ground. And I did that based on the first stone here. The first one is at almost at ground level. All I did was level it, and then use that as my basis. Drew a line off of that with the string to the back one, so they were all in the same row. Spaced them out using the boards that are cut already, and then I just worked this line, put a bubble level on it, and then got the next one level. And I'll put a board in there to make sure that that's in the right spot. But I checked it's level with the string, but also on top with a bubble level there. Okay, so about half done with the first bed. But still, the trickiest part is keeping it all level. It hasn't been too bad, but it is the most time-consuming part. And already started moving all the wood into the bottom for the hugelkultur. Not Huber. That's that German way of farming by putting decaying and vegetable matter inside of a mound of soil. Provides nutrients, but it also helps keep things warm inside the bed as things decompose. So I just moved a wood pile from here into here where it's going to be, so I can finish building the last walls of this first of 3 beds. And so far so good. Well, it's been a long day. A lot of bending over and stacking and leveling and moving the logs that used to be over here. There's a big pile of woody debris here, some branches and some small trees that were sprouting in the wrong places. And so we chopped them all down and put the logs and those sort of trash maples that pop up everywhere, and put them in here and chopped them up fine, you know, to get them to kind of compact a little bit so that they form the bottom of the bed. So we have 3 beds, well, 1 long bed and the smaller bed here almost finished. You can see I'm putting some old logs in here. This tree was cut about 2 years ago. It came down in a windstorm and we just had to remove it from somebody's property in our association. The logs have just been sitting, so they're well on their way to becoming part of the soil. And the same is true over here underneath this mixture of small branches that were cut up and some clay soil that I had from another project where I excavated. So the leftovers are all in here now, and I'm gonna let it settle a little bit and then top it off with the growing soil. We've shifted gears from the building of the bed to putting up some deer protection. Our nickname for this is Fort Deer Tick. We do have a lot of deer. They come right out of that meadow up around this area. So how'd I do this? I'm using PVC 3/4 inch, and these swing away. I've decided to avoid having to put a fence around the whole thing by using longer rebar sections. I cut 10-footers down to 5, and then I rest. It just sits here, and as you can see, it swings away. So laying the frame down on the wire so far works really well. You get it underneath it, and then attach one end, come to the other end and draw it tight, and put these zip ties on this side first or second, that gets the tension across it. And then I just went back and forth adding the other zip ties. Now I'm going to cut the wire mesh and trim it up and trim off the zip ties, put the wall back on. Well, that worked just as expected, or maybe it worked unexpectedly well. This was so simple. Lay it down on there, keep the wire weighted down, get it on the frame, tighten it up, and then do all the trimming once you've installed it. A little bit easier on your back. Just go around the edges, trim off the excess from the zip ties. And I think the most important thing is to tuck all the wires back. Cut the chicken wire and then twist back the sharps so they're not out and grabbing you. Pretty cool. Super lightweight. And I love how you can just swing this thing open and it just goes away, and then you can, walk right up to your garden. Okay, Sean, show us how to open.
Not that way.
Good morning, everyone. This is Fort Deer Tick. It is all finished, and nobody's been in there nibbling on anything. We have a lot of deer here. We did lose some a pumpkin plant down there from a deer plucking it out of the ground, and a neighbor across the street lost all of his bean plants. But Fort Deer Tick is holding strong, and all of these doors lift away. I just tie them shut, and they lift away and they just swing away on the rebar. And none of it was glued. I bought glue, but after building them I realized that the friction fit is pretty tight, and when you put the wire on, 3-foot wire and 3-foot width here, once you put that on and tighten it all down, pulling it tight with some drawing it in with the zip ties, the compression is like a bicycle wheel, and it keeps it. So no glue, super easy. I did buy a pack of about 1,000 zip ties, and it's working really well. And the doors are great because you can come in from the sides all the way around. Well, hey everybody, just another quick update on how this thing is going. The garden is just getting out of control here. The tomatoes are already above their cages, and I thought the cages were huge. The beans are exploding right here in the middle with the marigolds. The carrots are really looking good. They're a little bit wilted recently, and then we got some rain, and then the broccoli to the left of the carrots is doing pretty well. And then over here we have our lettuce, which is suddenly doing well too. All right, so I guess at some point we're gonna have to start eating here soon, and I'm sure it's gonna come fast and furious, and we're gonna have a hard time keeping up with it.